Alright, so everybody knows this isn't ideal, this isn't what I intended. Really, tonight you guys were supposed to take the test 3, which was going to have everything I'm going to go over on it. That said, when I set it up as an online class, it was spaced out a little differently. So the tests that I'm now going to give you are actually called test 3 and test 4. I think this is going to be better as far as giving you a break in between, not making you sit and do 2 hours straight of math. But it does mean that there's 2 separate tests that you're going to be completing by the end of next week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over every problem in the sample tests on video, show you step by step how I would do them. When I do these problems on the sample tests, really in your sample test that you try and web assign, they have things like boxes around 2 numbers. So the one that I picked says 4x plus 8. In your sample test, it might say 3x plus 6 or something different. So hopefully you'll get the chance to see me do all problems like what you're going to be facing on the test, and then you'll get a chance to try problems of your own that are very similar but a little bit different, so you can practice with problems of your own within WebAssign. Do know that any of the sample tests you get 100 tries at, try as many times as you want. They're not graded, they're there for you to use, to practice, to ask me questions about, as opposed to the real test. Once you start it, that's it. You get 1 attempt at every problem, you need 1 sitting to do it. All of that said, where we begin in this sample test 3 is with factor the expression 4x plus 8. So here what I want to do is I want to look at what the numbers are, and I want to look at what the variable is. When I start with the numbers, the factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. The factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. When I look for the largest that's on both lists, 4 is the largest that's on both lists. I then look at the powers of x that I have. This is x to the first power. This is no power of x. I take out the smallest one that I see. In this case, no power of x is the smallest that I see, so I'm not taking any x's out. What I am taking out is a 4. What I now need to know is what's left behind in the parentheses. So it used to be 4x plus 8. What I'm doing is dividing each of these parts by 4. So the 4 stays outside. When I divide 4x by 4, I'm left with x. When I divide 8 by 4, I'm left with 2. That gives me my final answer, 4 parentheses x plus 2. For number 2, factor the expression 21xy minus 24x squared y squared. Again, I'm going to start by listing the factors. For 21, it's 1, 3, 7, 21. For 24, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. I look at the 2 lists. I look for the largest number that appears on both. 3 is the largest number that appears on both. Then I look for the smallest power of the variable for each variable. X to the first, x to the second, x to the first is the smallest power. Y to the first, y to the second, y to the first is the smallest power. So I'm taking out the 3, the smallest factor, x, the smaller power of x that I see, y, the smaller power of y that I see. I originally had 21xy minus 24x squared y squared. When I divide that by 3xy, still the 3xy stays outside. 21 divided by 3 gives me 7. The x's cancel and the y's cancel. 24 divided by 3 gives me 8. That negative sign stays. X squared divided by x is like 2 minus 1, which just leaves me x to the first. Same thing for the y's. 2 minus 1 just leaves me y to the first. So my final answer is 3xy, parentheses 7 times negative 8xy. Final question here is one where it's just asking me to do the very last step of factor by grouping. I already have the same insides, so all I'm doing is rewriting outsides times insides. In this case, outsides, 5 minus x, times insides, x plus 6.